Hey guys, Howie here, and this is a video all about the Rebuildable CE4. Okay, here is the Rebuildable CE4. You can see here it comes in a ton of color options. I'm going to go ahead and take a red one because that's fancy. And I'll just quickly show you the difference between, first of all, between a standard CE4 and a replaceable CE4. So there you go. First thing you notice is that the replaceable one is slightly longer. That's to account for having this extra little ring at the bottom, which allows you to replace the heating element. So there's a side by side. Now I'll go ahead and open it up. The top opens just like a normal CE4. Got the mouthpiece, you fill the exact same way. The difference being, at the bottom, you are going to unscrew this here, and your heating coil is accessible and can be removed. So simply by twisting here, a couple of twists, you see the heating coil can be removed and then replaced by a new one when this one burns out. So it's a great feature. Instead of having a standard CE4, which basically burns out when the heating coil dies, there's no way to access the inside part. It's all sealed at the bottom. With the new unit, you're going to end up being able to replace just the heating coil. So it's better for the environment. It's going to save you a couple bucks every time because the heating coils are of course less expensive than buying a whole new unit. You simply clean the various components. Just some running water is fine. Some people use distilled water if you're concerned about contaminants. So just run some water through there, let them dry. Air dries the best, and you're good to go. So it's a good idea to have several of these at a time so that if you're cleaning one, you're not stuck without one for a bit. So you might want to get 2 or 3 or 4 of them and some heating coils. So let's go through the steps of replacing one real quick. So I'll build this back up so you can see, and then I'll take one that's actually in use and show you basically how to replace it very simply, and also a few things to look out for with these things. There you go, she's all built back up and ready to rock. Okay, so step one for any kind of liquid is you're going to want to have a little bit of paper towel around just to keep yourself from getting liquid anywhere and making a mess. Okay, let's take a CE4 Rebuildable that's in use. You can see this one has been used. What we're going to do is we're just going to open her up and replace the heating coil. So all you need to do is unscrew. Step 1, step 2, unscrew your heating coil, discard. Step 3, grab your replacement heating coil and screw it into the unit. Just finger tight is fine. Now you want to also make sure that these threads are centered. Sometimes they can go off a little bit to one side, and you just want to kind of make sure they're centered on there. Then you're just going to replace and tighten, and you're good to go. Very easy, very simple to do. It doesn't take too much work. Again, the heating coils are going to last you at least a couple weeks, usually 3, 4, upwards of 5 weeks if you keep them in good shape. You never want to let this thing get too low, and you don't want to, if you start getting a burning taste because you're not leaving enough liquid in there. Usually when mine would get down to about 0.4 mil in there, it's a good time to start filling it up again. So the next step is just going to be showing you how to fill. It's exactly the same as your standard CE4. You're just going to take your liquid inside. You're going to run it along the outside edge of the tank, squeezing not too hard, and you just want to fill it up to about the 1.6 mil line. You don't want to go all the way to the top with these things. They can gurgle and get a little flooded if you fill them up too high. Now there's a spring also on here that helps to keep this tight, but it can require you to kind of push and twist as you're getting your mouthpiece back in. So that's the filling of a CE4 Rebuildable right there, as well as a removal. Should be all the steps you're going to need to get these things working. I'll throw it on a battery. A couple things to keep in mind with this. When you are unscrewing it, you want to grab it from this base. You don't want to grab it up here, because if you do that and it spins at the connection point between the the base and the CE4 as opposed to the battery connection, what's going to happen is your liquid is actually going to spill out because you're going to unscrew the wrong part. So always grab it at the base right here when you're unscrewing it. Okay, so let me just test this thing, make sure it works. Okay, I've replaced the heating coil of this green CE4 Rebuildable clearomizer. I'm just going to go ahead and hit it. It comes in 3 resistances for the heating coils. For the most part, standard resistance works best, especially with standard batteries. I just have this set at 3.7 volts, which is the standard voltage for Vigo and T-Rex batteries. And right away, it's hitting decently. It can take up to a tank for a new heating coil to really get worked in. But overall, these things are, very comparable to the standard CE4s. They have all the nice features. They're simple to use, simple to fill, and now you're actually getting the ability to just replace the heating coil, which is going to be better for most people. I mean, some people couldn't be bothered. They don't want to get their hands dirty. I understand that. We're not going to stop selling normal CE4s. However, for a lot of people, this is going to be, people that like CE4s, this is going to be something that really helps save them some money and is a little bit better in all sorts of ways. That was a good one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. This has been Howie for CanadaVapes.com.